Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be looking at C++ arrays. That is the topic. So let me quickly go over the whiteboard and explain to you why we need arrays. So we saw different types of variables: integer, we saw double, we saw string. So anytime you say these types of data, it is going to allocate in the computer's memory. If this is the memory, there is going to be a tiny area that is allocated for this integer, tiny area allocated for this double, tiny area allocated for this string. So that is what an integer or a variable declaration means. So we say int x. If you say int x, this space belongs to x. If you say double y, this place belongs to the double, so on and so forth. So this is a one-on-one relationship. Integer can have at any point in time only one value. The moment you say x equal to 5, if you start with 0 and then you make x equal to 5, this place gets rewritten. Inside here, instead of initially we'll have 0, but after you make that change, it is going to become 5. So this gets, there's a strike through, and then the new value 5 is put in. Okay, so one data type can only store one value for that data. So that is how we have been working so far. So this creates some limitations. For example, if you have similar data, for example, let us say we do a coin toss. We want to count out of 5 turns how many times we get heads up. How many times we are getting heads up? Let's say in 5 turns. Okay, the first time is going to be, do we get yes or no? No. Second time, let's say we got. Third time we got no. Fourth time we got yes. Fifth time we got yes. Whether we got heads up or not. So that is 5 times we are tossing the coin, and then we got heads 2 times, 3 times, and then no heads 2 times. Okay, so this is the data of one particular game. Okay, so this is out of 5 tries, how many times did we get heads? So we are just documenting every try whether we got a head or no, yes or no. So here what happens is all the data is similar, but they are all related to the same situation. This is where arrays come into play. Okay, or let's say this, if you have a student, so you have a student 1 that scored 56, you have a student 2 that scored 48 in an exam, you have a student 3 that scored 34. We normally save it in different variables, right? Different variables. Instead of that, if there is any way that you could consolidate all these 3 into one student array, and then by the position where they are, if you can come up with the data storage, it will give you a more cohesive usage. It becomes easy. Then you can just say, if you want student 1, you just say 1. If you want student 2, you say 2. So when you have a collection where one name of a variable can store multiple data of the same type. So here student is storing test scores for one particular exam. Okay, the student array is scoring test scores for one particular exam, and all of the data is going to be the same type. It is all integer. So this is called as an integer array S. What is the size of this array? 3. So we say yes, 3. Okay, and then we can just go about and say what is the data inside it. So that is how we define arrays. An array is nothing but a variable that can store multiple values of the same type. This is homogeneous, okay? They all have the same type of data. So that is what an array is. So here we are going to learn about how to declare an array, how to use an array, how to retrieve the value, save value, how to get the size of the array, so on and so forth. I've just like pulled up the W3 school link that I put in your content. This is your content for this week. So you can see, you can go into the link to see how, if you want to read, if you're better at reading, you can just do that. If you want to watch the video, that's okay too. So you can see how an array is declared. So that is called as an array declaration. String cars of 4. So we did int s of 3, and then we put curly braces, and then inside we define all the numbers. So in our case, it's going to be inside we have 56, 48, 34. Okay, so this is going to be our array. This is called as a declaration of an array. Okay, so you don't always have to declare the values right away. You don't have to provide the value if you don't have them. You can just like leave it as it is, and that is okay too. So let us say like I don't know what the values are. I can just say int s of 3 equal to 2 curly braces, semicolon. This is okay too. If you don't know the value, you can leave it blank. Even better, if you don't know the size of the array, you can just leave that also blank. So you could just leave it like that, and then depending on what you initialize, if you say 56, 44, it is going to decide the size of the array is going to be 2. It can make the decision automatically. So if we come back to this example of, how is it going to be stored? If this is your memory, a regular variable s1 that stores 56 will have just one storage space, and this will be called as s1. So when we have this kind of special array, it will be one name called s, and it will have 3 compartments. Each one can have 56, 44, 48, 34. Okay, so that is possible. That is how an array gets stored in memory. So you can tell from what we have done, the position of the elements in the array is very important, because you can't just refer to s anymore. You have to say which element in s you are referring to. When you say s of 0, that is the first element. When you say s of 1, that is the second element. When you say s of 2, that is the third element. Okay, so the position array start at 0, position 0. So when you look at the size, it is 3, but it starts from position 0, then position 1, position 2. When you count, it is number 1, 2, 3. So that is why the size of the array is 3. Okay, so let's go and get some code written for this particular scenario. Okay, here's arrays demo for this week. What we are going to do is we are going to count heads and coin toss. Let us say 5 people are throwing. So let us say there are 5 people. Person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5. And let us say when they tossed heads, how many out of 5, what did they get? So they got 3 heads. This person got 2 heads. This person got 0 heads. This person got 1 head. This person got 5 heads. So this becomes like you have 5 people. They did a coin toss game where everybody got to toss the coin 5 times. We are counting how many times each person got heads. Okay, so that is kind of the goal. So the goal is we want to be able to get input, and then we want to store it in an array. Then we probably want to find, who scored the highest, maybe, or something like that, or we can find the average, whatever it is. So that is how we are going to be doing. So let us first say what we need. So individually, if we want to do, we can just say this is an integer array, right? Integer per coin toss heads. Let's say integer heads of, we know there are 5 people, so size 5 equal to, so this is going to be one array where I just directly give the values 3, 2, 0, 1, 5. There is no input here. Okay. I directly go in. I have a heads array. I already know the data. So I am declaring the array to be of size 5, and it has a name called heads. Then I'm assigning the values directly using the parenthesis on the right side of the equal to sign. Okay. Now, if I want to pull individual items to display, see out, how would I do that? I want to display the third element, HEADS of 2. Heads of 2 will give me the third element. Okay, the cout error is because we haven't used the namespace. So let us say here person 3 scored so that's how you are accessing a location. Okay, you are accessing. How do you access an element? An array element. Well, if you want to change what is in head 1, let's, for if person 1 gave you wrong data, they want to change it now. So you will say heads of 1 is equal to, any time a variable goes to the left side of an equal to sign, it is going to take data. Okay, so I just want to make it into 4, for example. So this is called as assigning value to a specific array location. So that is what we did in this one. So now we want to display. Like you all know, endl means end, that buffer gets cleared. So it goes to a new line. Okay, so we learned how to define an array. We accessed data from a specific position in the array. We also went and changed up data in a position in the array. So now let's run this code. See, I wanted to get the value of the third position. So third position is 0, 1, 2. That is that answer is 0. That's what I got. Person 1 initially scored 3, but now we changed it, so it is 4 now. Okay. Let us say you want to be able to loop through. You don't want to like give specific positions. You want to write general code. So we will use our loop for int I equal to 0. Array start at 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So that is going to be my array. So I know how to access my array heads, and then I don't know the position. Well, the good thing is every time the position is stored now in I, so I can say heads of I. So I can just say cout heads of I. Person number, and then I can say for number I have to say I plus 1, otherwise the 0 will come. That's no person 0. So I want to do this way. And the last one, let's do endl, so there is no continuous problem there. So if you want to access a specific array using a for loop, because you're not worried about a specific position, you just want to access every single element and you want to do some manipulation with it. In this case, I just want to display. So let's see how this works. See, that is confusing because there is one extra space I need. This is just formatting, right? How I want to format. So person 1 is 3, person 2 is 4, 0, 1, 5. So 3, 2, 0, 1, 5 is the original array. 3, 4, 0, 1, 5 is the updated array. So we saw how to create an array and initialize it. We saw how to access a particular element, which is in line 12. We saw how to change a particular element, which is line 16. We saw how to iterate through an array and access individual items. Okay, so now that we are there and we are accessing the array, what if we try to find the average? Okay, so whenever we talk about average, so if I have, so we have 3, 2, So let's say 0, 1, 5 or whatever. Those are the array elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5. Right? So that's a grid. Now I want to find the average. So whatever was repeating, you put in a loop, right? We talked about loops. So loop, whatever is repeating will go into the loop. What do we have to do now? In order to find the average, we have to keep adding the numbers. So the sum will go into the loop. Then to get the average, I have to sum divided by 5. I only want to do this one time. I don't want to keep repeating it. I just want to do it one time, which means it should be outside the loop. So average is going to be sum divided by 5, and I want that outside the loop. So with that in mind, let's go and code this here. So let's declare sum and average. Int sum, always initialize it. Int average, this can be a double, so let's make this double because we are dividing, could be a fraction. So here not only do I want to display, I also want to add. So I want to keep adding the heads of I to sum. So sum equal to sum plus heads of I. So now I'm getting one sum. So it is 3 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is the answer, right? Now outside the loop, I want to do average. So I want to say average equal to sum divided by 5. Well, we always want to display. Okay, so let's run this code. Average is 2. So 11 by 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So average is 2. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you understand how we loop through it, and we decided when we use the for loop where to break, which logic should go into the loop and which should not go into the loop. Let's quickly take a look. We did the loops. We talked about omitting the array size, right? We don't have to say what's the size of the array. It will automatically assign it. Get array size. We can do this one. So size of, okay, if you say size of, this is going to be funny. Now let's do size of array. Okay, size of, and then our array name is heads. So we want to do cout okay, size of heads. So let us see what is the size. So we only have 5 elements, but then the array size says it is 20. Before that, let me fix something here. Let's put the endl so it doesn't get smushed to that corner there. So size of array is 20. Oh, how is that possible? What does that mean? I only have 5 items, and why is the size 20? So the reason why the size is 20 is because this doesn't say how many positions you have or how many elements you have. It tells you how much space is allocated in memory. Integers are 4 bytes long. So you have 5 integers. 5 times 4 is 20. So this is actually the memory in bytes. That's what it is telling us. And now it's not telling you how many elements are there. It is telling you how much allocation of space has been made. Okay. This could come in handy when you get really intense with arrays. Normally we don't use it that much. Multi-dimensional arrays. This is actually really useful and my favorite. So we can expand upon that idea and go into the multi-dimensional array. So for that we will do another demo. So this is the first demo. So everything looks fine. Please make sure when you watch the video you also look at the code, because that will like help clarify some of the doubts you have with your labs. So let's go and say create